This thing takes up half my camera. Okay everyone, welcome back to Gear and Gadget Reviews. I am Brian and today's video is going to be really fun. This thing is a Haas. It is a SetPower 45 quart 12 volt dual zone refrigerator freezer that SetPower sent to me to do a review on it. And I've done quite a few reviews on some 12 volt fridges and I've got quite a few more to go. And so far this guy has impressed the heck out of me. It is built like an absolute tank. It's got a couple of features on it that I haven't seen in any of my other coolers that I'm doing reviews on that I really like, that make this thing a lot more useful for me and my family when we take this out on a camping trip. So let me just go over some quick specs with you guys, and then we're gonna do a real world review on the cooling power of this thing in this hot sauna of a garage here in Texas. Okay, so again, this is the SetPower RV45D 45 quart cooler, the D standing for dual zone with freezer slash refrigerator section, but that comes with an asterisk next to it and I'll get to that. This thing weighs 38 pounds dry, so it's not your light, typical, cheap made 12 volt cooler. It's got some heft to it, so it's not gonna be something you're gonna throw around. It's a heavy cooler. On average, this thing is going to pull about 60 watts. That's gonna be on max mode and when that compressor is running full blast trying to cool this thing down, but I'm going to show that to you guys also when I kick this thing on one of my battery units, how many watts this thing on average will pull, especially to get you down to the temperature that you're going to want to get it down to, around 32 degrees. The temperature setting on this guy can go anywhere from 0 degrees to 50 degrees Fahrenheit, and you can also switch it to Celsius, but I'm in America and I don't do the conversion rates very well, so I'm just going to stick with Fahrenheit. And this thing is powered either DC or AC. It comes with a AC brick that you're going to plug into your standard 110 outlet, and it also has a DC charging port that you're going to hook up to this and then connect to a 12 volt cigarette style charging port either in your truck or on one of our portable battery stations that we have. It's got your typical, max mode and economy mode. Max mode is going to be where you hook this thing up and it's going to take all of the power that it can to cool down as fast as possible. That's a good setting to use if you're going to plug this into unlimited supply of energy like your home outlet or something like that. For me personally, when I'm using these type of coolers camping, I'll put it on economy mode because it doesn't drain the battery quite as much. That's why they call it eco mode. It gradually cools this thing down. It doesn't suck out all the juice out of your battery station, but it does have the max and the economy mode. And it's got 3 levels of battery depletion protection. So it's got your high, medium, and low. And those settings are basically there just to help not deplete your battery. So if you leave this thing plugged into your car, it's not going to drain your car battery and you're going to be able to start your car in the morning when you wake up. And this thing comes with a 3-year warranty on the compressor and a 1-year warranty on everything else. So industry-wide, that's pretty good. Most of these 12 volt fridges that I've done a review on don't compare to that type of warranty. I've done one other review that had a 3-year warranty on their compressor, and this one's the same. So 3 years from date of purchase for your compressor is a very good warranty. Typically, if this thing's going to break down, it's going to be the compressor. And if you have a problem with it, 3 years, call them, let them know. And this thing also does have a reversible lid. So I have it opening up this way, but you can simply take it out, pull it on a 45-degree angle, and swap it around and slide it in on the other side. And now it opens up the other way. So whichever way you have this configured in your vehicle or in your tent or whatever, if it doesn't open up the right way, you can swap it out, no big deal. And I will bring you in closer, but when you open this lid, when it's turned on, it does have an LED light that'll kick on. It's got a drain plug in the bottom and it comes with a wire basket that you can remove and your all important divider. So this little piece of plastic here kind of confused me when I first got it, but this is what's going to separate your dual zones in this cooler. And there are notches in both sides, and there are notches in the cooler that this just slides down. And don't worry guys, I will show this to you, but just for right now. So the interesting about this divider is this unit knows when this divider is in here. I guess there's a magnet or something that creates a contact point that lets the circuit board in here know that there's a divider installed, because as soon as you remove that divider, this turns into a single zone freezer or refrigerator. So when you take out the divider on the control panel, you're only going to get one option for temperature settings. When you put the divider back in, you're going to get your 2 options to have a freezer section and a refrigerator section. So this thing knows when that divider is in there. Okay, so let me bring you in and just show you the inside, and then I'm gonna throw some cans in there, show you what this thing can hold, and then we're gonna run a test with a 500 watt hour battery station, because I think that's typically probably what most of us are gonna use, or what I recommend people get as a 500 watt battery station. I have a couple of 300 watts, and those are pretty low powered. You're gonna run through that 300 watt hour battery station pretty quick. So I recommend everyone, if you're gonna get a battery station, a solar generator, however you wanna call it, get at least a 500 watt hour. So that's what I'm gonna be using to run this thing, to give you guys an idea of how long a 500 watt power station can run this thing in 90, 95 degree garage. Now, obviously the garage is not outdoors, it's not beaming down on the sun, but you gotta be smart about these things. You're not gonna take this camping and leave this out in the middle of the sun when it's 100 degrees outside. You're gonna try to find some shade to put this thing under to kind of help the cooler. You know, you wanna give this thing as much help as you can, because you want your stuff to stay cold, so stick this under a shade tree or something. So I think this test is going to portray how we would use this cooler in real world in a shaded garage, even though the garage is 95 degrees in here. So I think it's gonna be a pretty good real world test. So hopefully without shaking too much, I'm gonna open this up and show you guys kind of the inside goods of this. So this is, the compressor is gonna sit under here, so you do have a little ledge, and here's that divider that you can pull out, and these are all the charging cords that it comes with. Not charging cords, but power cords. And this is the unit inside. And if you move around here to the side, you're gonna see, this is gonna be your LED light that cuts on. Once I plug it on, you'll see that. And the wire basket that it comes with. So this is the inside of the unit. And here are the little recesses that I was talking about in the divider. So those little channels fit in that channel right there. And you just slide it down into place, and this cooler recognizes that that is in there because of magnets or something, but it's going to turn the control panel into a single or dual unit cooler slash refrigerator. And one other thing I did not mention is that the instruction manual that it came with is probably the best instruction manual that I've received on any of these coolers. There's not a single word out of place. It's very proper English. You can tell that there was actually some thought and effort put into the instruction manual as well, which gives me a little bit more hope that this thing is actually going to last a little bit longer than probably your most cheaper, you know, coolers. But anyway, so to power this thing, we're just going to hit the power button. And this is the current temperature on both sides of that divider. So obviously we're right now both at 80. We can turn it down to, that's at 0. We don't want it at 0. So, you know, you can go from 0 all the way up to 50 degrees. And that is on both sides. There you go. So that's how you set left and right. And let me show you what happens when I pull this divider out. See there? You only have one temperature setting now that you have to worry about. Okay? Just put that divider back in. And that will kick back on. And while I have this open, there is the LED light that cuts on automatically. So let me get this shut. And you've got your max and your eco mode. If you have a blue light, that's going to mean that this thing is in max mode. It's going to be pulling the full amount of wattage to get this thing down cold as quickly as possible. Hit that settings button one time and the green light's going to cut on, and that's going to mean you're in eco mode. So that's not going to pull as much juice out of your battery station to cool this thing down at one time. Next up, guys, let's give this thing a test. Let's see how long it's going to take this cooler to get from ambient room temperature down to 32 degrees, and I'm going to put a timer on it and see how fast this thing does it. Okay, gang, so for this first test, I want to show you guys how fast this cooler goes from ambient room temperature down to whatever temperature I set it at. I'm going to set this at 32 degrees, and I'm going to remove the center divider so the cooler's got to cool the entire space to the same temperature. And this temperature gauge only goes up to 80, but you can see there, hopefully, it's over 80 degrees in here. So it's obviously has not been on. I've got my 500 watt battery station I'm going to be using for this test. So let me cut this on. Battery's got 99% in it. Cooler's cut on. I'm gonna cool this thing to 32 degrees. So it is set to 32 degrees and it is currently 7:46 a.m. I'll check back in about 20 minutes and see if this cooler has gotten us down to about 32 degrees. So folks, real quick, I am on max mode on this cooler and I am pulling 40 watts, 41 watts of juice to get that compressor running. Let me zoom in and show you. So there you, hopefully you can see I'm pulling 36 watts. So the moral of the story is this does not pull a whole lot of wattage. I'm at 40 watts now. So anyway, and this is showing me I've got 9 hours of runtime if this compressor were to run non-stop for 9 hours, which we know that's not gonna happen. That compressor is gonna cut off when it reaches the temperature that I have it set to. And we're up to 47 watts now. So it's averaging between 35 to 50 watts. So I'll check back in 20 minutes and see if this cooler is down to temperature. All right, folks, it is 8:31. And the cooler is telling me it's at 32 degrees now. So that took about 42, 43 minutes, I believe. I'll have to double check the time when I first started this, but around 40 minutes to get from over 85 degrees down to 32. But let me show you the thermometer real quick before it gets hot. We're actually below 30 degrees. So this is saying 30, but the actual thermometer inside is showing about 29 degrees. So that's not bad. And it's on max mode, and my battery is down to 73%. Now again, I have this on max mode. So what I'm gonna do moving forward now is I'm gonna switch this to economy mode to try to prolong the use and the life out of this battery and hopefully show you folks how long this 500 watt hour battery could power this cooler. So I'm gonna switch it to economy mode and I'm gonna put some drinks in it. Now these folks say that this cooler will hold 52 cans. I don't have 52 cans, I have 24 cans, but we'll go with it. So I'm gonna take that thermometer out. All right, so there is 24 cans in there. Let me show you what it looks like. Okay, that is with 24 cans. And you've still got this entire left space of however you want to use it. More cans, food. You can put it in your divider and technically turn that side into a freezer if you want. But for this test, I'm just going to keep the same temperature on both sides. So let's close that down. So I'm currently pulling 41 watts and I've got 8 hours of runtime remaining at this current setting. Once that compressor turns off, that hours to empty is going to go up to probably 15, 20, 25, whatever it is. But right now I got 8 hours if that were to stay the same throughout this whole test. We put the temperature gauge back in here. Okay gang, so I've got this thing set at 32 degrees, economy mode, medium on the battery protection mode, because I am running it off of this instead of say a car battery. So I changed it to medium, and I'll check back in every couple of hours. I'll open up the lid, let that cold air out, let some hot air in, because that's how it's going to be in the real world, and see how this thing does and see how long this little unit runs it. So guys, I'll check back in a few hours and see how we're doing. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I am out for another update. It is currently 12:30 in the afternoon. And this thing has been running for about 5 hours. So I hooked up the battery around 7:45 a.m. this morning. So we're looking at pretty much close to 5 hours. Here in 15 minutes, it'll be 5 hours. My battery right now is showing I've got 99 hours left of runtime remaining, and that's because the compressor is not on. I am at 38% on the battery, and let me see what the cooler is telling us we're at. Have it set to 32 degrees, so let me pull out the thermometer, and we are at 30 degrees, 31 degrees. So, right on schedule with what I set it at. Now, basically what this means, and it's hard to judge on these things actual runtime, because when the compressor kicks on, that amount to discharge completely is going to go down to 3, 4, 5 hours. But right now it's showing 99 hours because it doesn't go up any higher than that. But so far it's been running for 5 hours and I'm down to 40% of my battery. So I'm going to take that to mean I've got about 40 to 45% left on this battery unit, which is going to give me another 4 to 5 hours. So I'm going to go ahead and guess that you could probably get 9 to 10 hours of runtime off of one 500 watt hour battery. But I'm going to come back in a few hours to see if the compressor's on, to see what this is going to do to the internals of this battery in terms of how long this will last. So folks, I'll check back in a few more hours and see where we stand. Okay gang, check-in number 3, I think, I'm not sure. It is 5:25 p.m. And I don't think I ever showed you guys, and I probably should have, but it's 90 degrees outside, or 90 degrees in this garage, I guess. So it was much hotter than this around noon or 1, but it's, you know, 90 degrees in here right now in the shade. So with that said, guys, my battery is at 26%. I'm not pulling any watts from this fridge yet because the compressor's not running. We're showing 30-ish degrees, so let's pull out the thermometer. And we're hovering around 31 degrees. So this thing's still keeping its temperature nice. And this battery has been powering this unit for almost 10 hours now. So around 7:30 tonight, it'll be a full 12 hours, and I think we're easily gonna get that. For me personally, that's all I really want from one of these battery units, is to get it through overnight hours. So I think I might check in one more time tonight, probably around 8:30 tonight, see where the battery unit's at and make sure that this thing's still holding temperature. And let me open up this thing again. Let's let some hot air get in it, because we're all going to be opening and closing coolers. So there's that. So I will check back in probably for the last time here in a few hours, and let's do a final thought then. So see you in a few. Okay folks, well this is going to be the last check-in of the SetPower cooler, and it is 7:30. So this has ran for approximately 12 full hours. I've opened the cooler up 5 or 6 times, again letting cold air out, hot air in, trying to simulate how we would normally use the cooler out in real life. And my battery is down to 13%, and this compressor is running, so it's pulling 42 watts, and it's showing I have 1 hour left of runtime. Let me zoom you in and show it to you. So that middle number 42, that's the amount of watts that that refrigerator is pulling, and that bottom number, that 01, is the 1 hour left of remaining runtime. And then way down at the bottom left, you can maybe catch that it says 13% battery life remaining. Okay, so got that out of the way. It's even warmer now. It's 90 degrees. And the cooler, let me pull out the thermometer really fast. And that compressor's on. Oh my God. It's actually below 20 degrees right now. I probably caught it right at the wrong time where that compressor's cutting on. I'm sure it's about to cut off because it got to temperature, but that thing is frosty in there. So overall, obviously this cooler works well. 12 hours straight, 90 plus degree garage. It's shaded, it's not out in the middle of the sun, but it's still hot and muggy here in this garage. So it ran beautifully. The battery ran it for about 12 hours. So overall, guys, it's you know, I hope that gives you an idea of how long, like say a typical 500 watt hour battery could run a cooler to 30 to 32 degrees. You could run this at 40 degrees to keep your drinks cold. I like mine a little bit colder, but set it to 40 degrees and it's gonna last even longer. But that's gonna depend on how many times you open and close it. Did you pre-chill it before you put stuff in here? Did you put maybe an ice pack in there to help supplement the compressor cooling it down? There's a lot of different tweaks you can do to actually prolong the life of this. Guys, there's my review over the SetPower 45D. It's a good cooler. If you folks don't know about it, I actually have another YouTube channel where I use all of the stuff that I review on actual camping trips and put it through its paces. So if you haven't checked out my other channel, I'll link it down below, and I invite you to go watch it. If you like it, that's awesome. Subscribe if you like. But again, I take all of the stuff that I review on this channel and I actually use it on my main YouTube camping channel So if you'd like to see it used out in the wild, go check out my other channel, and all this stuff will be used on videos in the future on camping adventures. So anyway, folks, thanks for tuning in. Thanks for watching. And until next time, take care.